Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 886. 886, Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get to the news of the day. Alrighty. So, newly released documents show that Jerry Nadler, the Penguin, began an impeachment inquiry 2 weeks before the Mueller report was ever released. How about that? The Penguin began an impeachment inquiry 2 weeks before the Mueller report was even released. Meaning that he and Pelosi have been lying. Why should that surprise us? Now, it appears that Nadler is opening up a new inquiry into whether Trump paid hush money payments to Saggy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Nadler will start calling witnesses in October. I thought we already went through this. I'm sure we did. There's nothing there. But that doesn't matter, because everything else has failed for the Penguin. So he's going to go back and rehash the same thing over again. Now, this is a massively losing political strategy. It's a loser. But it's a winner for Nadler, because in his voting district, this is what they want. And that's what he ran on. He ran on, reelect me, I'll impeach Trump. That's what he ran on. His constituents in his district love it. And that's who he's playing to. He knows this is a loser. Pelosi is not signed on, at least that's what she says publicly. But I really hope Nadler goes through with it, because it'll only end up putting egg on his face again, and he knows it. And why is that? For the same reason that we've discussed in all these other witch hunts that Nadler has engaged in. It's because you have a good 52, 53, 54, some odd Democrats who ran in the last midterms as moderates. Some of them even saying they like some of Trump's policies. That's how they won those 52, 53 seats in the House. By running against something they don't really believe in. By running against something that's completely the opposite of what the leaders in their party are pushing. So what happens? Well, Nadler goes through with this just like he's done before, and then when it comes time to have a vote, these Democrats who won these 52, 53 seats in the last midterms, who are in states that voted for Trump, or in districts that are purple, very, very close, or somewhere between red and blue, very close, they have to say, I can't vote for it because I'll get lambasted and I'll lose my next race, and we'll lose the House. A Republican will win back my seat, and they'll win back the House. It's a stupid political strategy, and I'm not going to be forced into doing it. But Nadler's thinking is that even though he can't get one thing to stick, if he can bring up 8 or 9 things that he investigated, even though he found nothing to them, he can just simply lay them out there and say, well, we investigated Trump for this, this, this. And even though he will have found no wrongdoing anywhere, he will phrase it in such a way or spin it in such a way that it makes it look like it's very damning, and that his investigation was very damning and revealed this and revealed that, when in fact it revealed nothing. Now, of course, the Penguin continues to lose in every single court battle he takes on. They're all losers, just like this most recent loser, where he tried to get the grand jury material. It's a loser. So, it's funny because you notice that Adam, the bug-eyed fool Schiff for brains, you haven't heard much from him the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's kind of figured it out. And he's also got a challenger facing him in California, who's running more of a, hey, let's actually do something good for the country, as opposed to chasing Trump all over the place. And so he's taking some hits, and so he's backed off. But the Penguin, of course, in his voting district, all they want is Trump's, they want Trump hanging from his toes. And Nadler campaigned on one thing and one thing only. Elect me, I'll impeach Trump. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's feeding his base. But he's costing his party. So I hope he continues to do it, quite honestly. It's not good for the country, But quite honestly, the Democrats are not going to do anything good for the country anyway. That's not their intention. Doing something good for the country would be viewed as a win for the president. They're not interested in wins for the country or for the president, I can assure you. They're interested in just never Trumping. Just anything that's opposed to Trump. Anything Trump's for, they're against. Anything Trump's against, they're for. That's just basically how it is. It's that's the syndrome that Nadler has. So this will go nowhere. And he can bring in these witnesses. I imagine he'll drag Saggy Daniels in. He'll probably drag Avenatti in if he's not in prison. He'll drag all these people in who have no credibility, and he'll embarrass them. He'll embarrass himself and other Democrat members of Congress as he goes through these hearings. It's all just political theater. It's the circus. And Jerry is driving the clown car. And he's driving it right over the cliff. So I hope he continues. And I hope that he puts this thing to a vote. And you know what? I almost hope that 53 Democrats do vote for it. They still come up short. But most importantly, this puts Pelosi in a real pickle, because she's been out there saying that she doesn't support this. And so a lot of the pressure is on Pelosi and these 52, 53 Democrats who won their seats in the midterms, running as somewhat moderate. And if they are forced to vote for impeachment, they will lose their seats in almost every case. So go ahead, Jerry, Mr. Penguin, continue on. Continue on. You're going down a road that's a political loser, and it's only going to benefit Trump. He will win this fight in the end. Alrighty, we have Devin Nunes doing an interview with Breitbart and telling Breitbart that Comey is not out of the woods yet. He says that Durham could still prosecute Comey on the leaking and the lying that was outlined in the IG report. And he says that Durham could be looking at a wider conspiracy charges against Comey. And Devin Nunes says that the evidence is there. Yes, remember that Nunes has sent up 2 conspiracy referrals to the DOJ, and those are likely being looked at or passed off to Durham. And it's obviously he has to be looking at the conspiracy aspect of all this, because that's what it is. It's 2 or more individuals engaged in the planning or commission of a crime. And that's exactly what this is. It's a very, very big conspiracy involving many players. As I've said, there are 2 to 3 dozen top-tier players here, and there's probably another, 50 that just went along. So, yes, I agree with Nunes, and I do think we have to be patient. But I have to be honest with you. There is a part of me that says it looks like this is a run-the-clock-out game. You know, Durham's doing his investigation. Barr's heading up the investigation. They're doing his investigation. It goes on and on and on. Just like the Horowitz report. It's coming out here. It's coming out then. That's next month. Then it's next month. Then it's next month. Well, the Durham investigation is making progress. He's working really hard. And the months go by and the months go by. And pretty soon, it's 2020. That's my big fear. Is that we are being led down again this road that seems to go nowhere. And it's funny how when Uncle Bob the Executioner was indicting people around Trump, he could have them indicted in front of a judge, sentenced, and in jail within 12 months. But yet when you're investigating the deep state, I mean, the McCabe thing has been around with the DOJ for a year and a half now. We've known about Comey's dealings now for close to 2 years. Bruce Orr, we've known a lot about what Bruce Orr was involved in. He should already be in jail. No, he's still working at the DOJ. Nellie's still free as a bird, and you go right on down the line. So, yeah, one side of me is Mr. Optimist, and I think, yeah, it's impossible. I don't see how Barr and Durham could not charge many people, dozens of people, in a criminal conspiracy. On the other hand, I have another side of me, sort of this Jekyll Hyde thing, that says, yeah, but you've been down this road before, you've seen all this before, and it looks a hell of a lot like, and it smells a hell of a lot like, run the clock out. So, I have to tell you, I'm torn, folks. I wish I could sit here and tell you, oh yeah, I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident there should be indictments. I'm 100% sure they should happen before the 2020 elections, but I can't be I can't be 100% sure because I have serious doubts because of the evidence and because of what I'm actually seeing. I certainly do hope Barr turns out to be the real deal and that Mr. Durham really is doing an actual investigation. And he certainly is hopefully looking at the conspiracy aspect of things. The only thing we can do, folks, I mean, you know, we can all pontificate, we can all give our opinions. Many people do. You got people on both sides. You have people like, DeGeneva and Giuliani saying, oh, yeah, definitely going to be indictments. I can tell you right now there's going to be indictments. You got people over here who say, like Gingrich and some other people said, no, it ain't going to happen. These people have got the fix in. Then you got those people that sort of ride the fence in the middle, like John Solomon and other people say, well, there should be indictments. I can't say there will be. I don't want to jump ahead of the gun or whatever. So, you got people on every different possible position, people we all probably most of us like, but no one can really give a definitive answer either way what it is that we're looking at here because we've been duped and fooled so many times, and it's just hard to have any confidence at all. I actually need to see one of the perps indicted before I can generate any more enthusiasm or have any more confidence. I continue to say that I believe that there will be indictments because I just can't imagine how there could not be. I don't know how you can have a crime this large that so many people know about, that so many journalists are following it, that there's so much evidence already out in the public domain. I don't know how you could not bring criminal charges. I wonder how they think they could get away with that. Did they think that people are just going to sit back and go, oh, well, I guess that's the way it goes? I don't think so. Not this time. Not this time. So, I'd love to be able to sit here and tell you I'm 100% confident of one of these things either way, but I simply don't know. I'm like many of you. I find it nearly impossible to believe you could not charge people for this type of unbelievably monstrous criminal conspiracy. Yet at the same time, I'm watching it happen. Am I an optimist or a pessimist? Hell, I don't know. So John Solomon, speaking of John Solomon, and Andrew McCarthy have new articles out, and again, they're following right in the footsteps of Byron York. As we know, that article that Byron York wrote 2 articles. The first one was basically explaining what the IG report told us on Comey, and the second one was a response to Comey's statements and his tweets. And he was clearly very agitated. You can tell because he basically put the wood to Comey. Now you have John Solomon and Andy McCarthy who are both laying the wood to James Comey. And Solomon is a guy who stays pretty even keel. You don't generally see him get that exercise, but you can tell even in the Solomon article that he's very, very, you can tell he's very, very agitated, just as was Byron York and Andrew McCarthy. They're all very, very agitated. To have read the IG report on Comey, to know exactly what it says, and then to hear Comey and people out there on the left just completely flipping the script on it and making it sound like it's something completely different. Comey asking for an apology. I mean, this is arrogance beyond anything I've ever seen, and probably likely for those three as well. So there you go, John Solomon, Andrew McCarthy, 2 more articles you can read where they lay out the case for why Comey should not be doing any end zone dances and why he probably should still be very concerned. Well, we have crazy Joe Biden calling for banning magazines that can hold multiple bullets in them. Well, the purpose of a magazine is to have multiple bullets, so that's kind of a stupid comment. You don't need a magazine to fire multiple bullets. 6-shot Colt revolver will get the job done. Fire 6 rounds, fast as you can pull the trigger. Many other weapons the same way. I mean, he's talking about the banning of semi-autos. That's what you're talking about. If you're saying that you only want people to be able to squeeze off 1 round at a time, what you're talking about is making everything illegal except for a musket. Even a shotgun. Didn't Joe say we should all go get a shotgun? Boy, you can do a lot of damage with a shotgun, let me tell you. But even a shotgun has 2 barrels. Many of them. There are many sport rifles that have nothing to do with what you would say an assault weapon. Many sporting rifles that use magazines. I mean, this is just, again, it's just delusional. It's delusional talk. And I go back to the point I made yesterday that the real solution to this problem is to require that everyone arm themselves for self-defense. Everyone should be armed. That's the solution. Well, we have Sidney Powell. She has now filed a petition with the court to hold the Mueller gang in contempt, and she wants them kicked off the case. Now, this judge, Emmett Sullivan, I mean, I'm not sure where to go with Sullivan. I mean, some days he looks like he's having a good day, and the other days he just seems bonkers. So I don't know what to think about where this is going to go with Sullivan. Certainly, Sidney Powell's already made it perfectly clear that her goal is to get 100% exoneration for Michael Flynn. She's the most recent court hearing she attended. She was complaining that they wouldn't allow her give her the security clearance she needed to see the documents that are important to her case. She's complaining that they're refusing to turn over documents which could be exculpatory information. So she's got a lot of problems with the Mueller team. And I will say one thing for Sidney Powell, she is fighting hard on behalf of Michael Flynn. Sidney Powell will fight you hard. She certainly will, and she's doing that, doing the very best she can. But she's battling, guess who? The deep state. They're tough. They're a tough nut to crack. As I pointed out a few weeks ago, the swamp is bottomless. There is no bottom to it, my friends. Nope, there's no bottom to the swamp. It is a bottomless pit of corruption, lies, and swamp monsters. And that's where they all live. And if you're dealing in D.C., that's who you're dealing with. It's a dance with the devil every day. So you've got people out there like Trump, Sidney Powell, a few others fighting hard. But the swamp is deep and it is wide. It's very deeply entrenched. It's been around for a very long time. And we can see that the lengths that they're willing to go to protect their turf. Here we have this former Reserve Board chairman, banker, out there basically writing a column telling the Fed that they should manipulate the economy and drive the economy down to hurt Trump. That's why we need to end the Fed. Maybe that's Trump's plan. Who knows? Well, it looks like the demo commies have decided to deploy a secret weapon to Pennsylvania. Yep, Pennsylvania. It looks like they're going to send Hanoi Jane. That's right, Jane Fonda. Yeah, I'm sure she's got a lot of pull in Pennsylvania with the working class blue-collar workers in Pennsylvania. I'm sure she's got a lot in common with them. I'm sure that when Hanoi Jane rolls up on the scene, they're all going to go, oh, wow, Jane Fonda, hell yeah, man. Yeah, what is she saying? Oh, yeah, we back Jane Fonda 100%. She knows exactly what she's talking about. Not a good move, I don't think. I don't think that the Hanoi Jane's going to go over very well in Pennsylvania. A lot of veterans there. A lot of Vietnam vets who remember Hanoi Jane. Well, what do you make of this, friends? It appears that another Epstein friend is missing. An Epstein friend is missing. And this character, we just talked about him about 2 weeks ago. His name is Jean-Luc Brunel. He owns the MCZ modeling agency. I believe it's located in France. Now, he's the guy we talked about a couple weeks ago that sent Epstein 3 underage girls for his birthday as a birthday gift. Now, it appears that investigators are trying to locate him, but he's gone missing. Investigators are looking for him in Brazil, the United States, and all over Europe. He seems to have vanished. Vanished. Where do you think he is? Do you think he vanished on his own, or do you think he had some help? If I was him, I'd vanish too. By the way, where are the climate change activists? The New Green Deal folks, where are they? Because the last time I checked, Obama just bought a $15 million mansion up there in Martha's Vineyard. That's in addition to his $8 million home in D.C. And I believe he has a home also in Hawaii. And he probably has a home in Indonesia, or a place he stays when he's in the region. God knows how many homes he has. How many does he need? Do you hear any Democrats or any of the New Green Deal nuts questioning the carbon footprint of Barack Hussein Obama? No. Just like you never heard him say anything when he was putting kids in cages and then deporting all those people. Nope, not a word. Why? Because they really don't give a shit about any of these issues. It's only about anti-Trump. That's it. Yes, there's a new story out today showing that something we learned from, I thought this was already well known because of the polls that came out after the election, that union workers are for Trump, despite the fact that union leadership is coming out against him. So this is something we saw from a poll I remember that came out not too long after the election, after Trump won in 2016, and they clearly showed that Trump got double the amount of union workers, not the leadership in the unions, not the big shots, but the rank and file working class union members. Trump got double the amount of union members, union workers voted for him than had voted for the previous 4 Republican presidents. Reagan was the last Republican president that was able to get union workers to cross over and vote Republican. Of course, their leadership's totally in the tank for the Democrats. Now, what's funny about this, and Trump has tweeted about this, is that when Dick Trunka, the head of the AFL-CIO, when he goes to the White House, he loves Trump. He tells Trump how happy he is about fighting against TTP and shooting that down, how happy he is that Trump's fighting at the border to keep the illegal immigrants out, which drives down wages, competes against union workers. He talks about these policies that Trump has that are beneficial to his union workers, and he seems very friendly with Trump. Then he turns right around, walks out the door of the White House, goes on MSNBC and rips Trump a new one, and suggests to his union members that they should vote Democrat. This guy's a scumbag, and nearly every high-powered labor union leader is a scumbag. These guys, believe me, I know a guy who was a big shot for the food workers union, the UFCW, I think they were called, United Food Workers Union, and he was a nice enough guy, kind of liked him, friendly guy, but man, he didn't give a damn about the union workers he represented. I'd go out to his office sometimes, and they would call, and he would not answer the phone. They would just kind of leave voicemails, and they'd be bitching and complaining about something. He would just like roll his eyes, oh God, no, and he'd have notes and sticky notes all over his desks of all these people he was supposed to get back with, whose issues he's supposed to be working on. He wasn't giving a damn about any of those people, wasn't working on any of them issues. He spent most of his days having lunch with political people, going golfing, taking half days off, never showed up on Fridays, come in late on Mondays. I mean, this guy did practically no work, was probably drawing a pretty decent salary from the union, was not working for any of these rank and file union workers at all. They had to practically, get on the phone or leave messages for him constantly, over and over again, screaming at him and stuff, just to get him to do anything on their behalf. He didn't give a damn about them. He was in a cushy-ass union job, and he was totally about the politics of it and being politically correct to try to work his way up to the next level of union leadership. It's a totally corrupt deal. It's just a private club, and they use and abuse union members. They don't give a damn about those people. They really don't. They're out for number one, and the union workers are not number one. I can assure you, they're not even number two. They're not even on the list. They're not even on the long list of the short list. Take that to the bank. If you work for a union and you have a union labor leader and he's done anything on your behalf, you should feel very lucky. That's what you expect from these people. And then we have, my goodness, this is actually something I'd like to see, and I hope they do it live. I would love to see this happen. We have Alyssa Milano, who's clearly dumber than a turnip, and she is challenging Ted Cruz to a debate on gun control. Well, I'm not a huge Ted Cruz fan, really. Don't like him very much. I certainly am very, very happy he beat the skateboarder. Obviously, I didn't want to see that happen. I'm just not a big fan of Ted Cruz. I don't particularly know why. It's not that he's that bad, I guess, but, you know, I'm just not a big Ted Cruz fan, but I'm happy he's the Republican serving in that seat in the Senate and not a Democrat. And you could do a lot worse than Ted Cruz in the Republican field. So he's not terrible. I'm just not a huge fan. But I will say this on Ted Cruz's behalf. He was a national debate champion. He's argued cases in front of the Supreme Court. He is definitely a smart dude. And if Alyssa Milano takes him on in a gun control debate, he will destroy her and make her look really, really stupid. Really stupid. Because she is stupid. So that's not even fair. That's like taking candy from a baby. But I hope it happens. In fact, I'd like to have a lot more debates with these people. The fact is, it's hard to debate liberals because they really can't debate you. Because as soon as you start getting into concrete facts, evidence, and common sense, the only thing they can do is launch personal attacks against you because they really have no argument. So, other than some emotional pleas and then making personal slants against you, that's attacks. That's all they can do. That's how they debate. Their debates are not debates. You make a debate point and then they slander you. That's basically how it works. I'm not sure that Cruz is going to take the bait, but you know, it'll be funny if he does. Well, Newt Gingrich, as I mentioned earlier, Newt Gingrich says that Obama and Loretta Lynch absolutely knew that the FBI was spying on the Trump campaign. Of course. Okay, I don't think you have to be a genius to figure that one out. Of course Obama and Loretta Lynch knew, along with Susan Rice, Ben Rhodes, and the whole damn cabinet, as well as the entire top tier of the FBI, the DOJ, the State Department, the DOD, you name it. They were all in on it. And of course, Obama was one of the top tier heads of this. But Gingrich also says that he says that the fix is in and that nobody is going to be prosecuted. That's coming from Gingrich. So I guess you put Gingrich on the side, on the column of nope, nobody's going to get indicted. That's what Gingrich is saying. Well, we have this woman, Deborah Messing. I'm still trying to figure out who she is. I guess she was in some movie or something, a TV show or something. I honestly have no idea who this person is, but she's a actress in Hollywood, I guess. And she has made a tweet where she says, "Black Trump voters are mentally ill." That sounds like a pretty racist statement to me. And that's a very, very nasty thing to say. I mean, clearly, there's a lot of blacks in the country, Hispanics, people other than white, who support Trump. And to say that every one of those people are mentally ill is a problem. She's also signed up on board with, I guess, this guy who was her co-star in this TV movie or whatever they were in. And she and he are now pushing for Hollywood Trump supporters to be outed. Hollywood Trump supporters to be outed. Well, I think we know who a lot of them are. Then a lot of them are not shy about it. But yeah, I mean, I think this is just horrible. I mean, so we have reached a point in the Demo-Commie party. This is true fascism, by the way. These people don't realize it, but they're fascist. They want to punish people because some people have a political view that's different from theirs. Therefore, they should be outcasts. They should be not able to work. They should be not able to probably live, I guess, in her opinion. What comes next? Round up all the Trump supporters and burn them in ovens? Is that what comes next, Miss Messing? Burning Trump supporters in ovens? Do we need to build the rail car system? Do we need an American Auschwitz? Is that what we need, Miss Messing? Would that make you and your liberal commies feel better? Is that what you would like to do? Maybe gas 63 million Trump supporters? Is that what you're calling for, Miss Messing? Okay, right now there's a word I would like to drop on her that I will definitely not say. Sometimes my mother watches my videos. Out of respect for Mom, I will not drop the word I'm thinking to describe this person. But there you go. That's the state of affairs that we find ourselves in today. This is why, as I've said many, many times in the past, We cannot, it's not possible, I've tried, it's not possible to debate or rationalize or reason with these people. They must be defeated. They must be defeated. Plain and simple. We can now see that they're moving closer and closer toward actual fascism while claiming that we're the fascist. Last time I checked, I don't see any Trump supporters trying to shut down their speech. I mean, she's perfectly free to send out these tweets and perfectly free to do the things she's doing and say what she's saying. I'll call her out on it, but I would never try to silence her from saying it. In fact, I kind of hope she keeps it up because she's a representative of the Demo-Commie Party. Now, maybe in Hollywood, that'll get her a job, but it won't get you votes in Peoria or Cincinnati or Indianapolis or Tampa or probably upstate New York or Pennsylvania. Probably won't get you very many votes even in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania or Michigan. So these are not winning positions, and people don't like hearing this kind of stuff. They really don't. Even because remember, not all Democrats are crazy. Not all Democrats are commies. Not all Democrats are fascists. So there are many Democrats who are sane, who are reasonable, who are going to look at this kind of stuff, and it's driving them out of the party. In fact, we just had a poll out not more than 2 or 3 days ago that I read. I didn't have time to cover it, but a poll came out that shows that there are 6% fewer people today than just in the last midterm election in 2018. There are 6% fewer people today who were polled who now identify with themselves as Democrats. The Democrats are destroying this party, and that's good. Ultimately, this is what I see happening. If they get destroyed in the next election, and if they put up Biden, Warren, Sanders, they will absolutely get destroyed in 2020. I'm not sure who they could put up there. Really, I'm not sure that a moderate or centrist Democrat can get the nomination in that party, and that's the problem I see. So I think after they're soundly rejected in 2020, I don't know that they'll change the name of the party or anything, but they will have to have a wholesale cleaning of the House at the Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Party. They are going to have to go back to being a party that stood for something that people can actually describe as reasonable, because open borders, free health care, free benefits for everyone who crosses our border illegally is okay. Abolish ICE, that's okay. Taxes of 70%, that's okay. Massive gun confiscation, that's okay. All these things that they're running on are political losers in the part of the country where we don't have a gigantic newspaper to represent our views. We don't have a New York Times. We don't have a Washington Post. We don't have anything like that. We have small bloggers, but we have thousands and thousands of them. And ultimately, I think that the Democrat Party, the Demo-Commies, are in the process of destroying their party right in front of our very eyes. And that's something we should focus on. And I think if they continue down the path they're going, and I think they will, because I think they have no choice, that's exactly what we're going to see. More and more, it looks like to me that Trump is going to win 40 plus states in 2020. I just want to see the perps brought to justice, because if in fact the entire Spygate hoax is revealed and the perpetrators are brought to justice, Trump will gain at least 5, maybe 10 points from that alone, and it will end up in complete destruction of the Demo-Commie Party, along with the other things they're doing to themselves. So we'll stay tuned. We'll keep following it. We'll do the best we can. Maybe we can find the patience to deal with it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. See ya. Bye.